Sul everyone, and welcome to another Sims 2 speed build. This lot is 42 Hedgerow Avenue, is a 40 by 20 lot and costs 87,482 simoleons. It has an open plan living room, kitchen, diner, 2 bedrooms both with ensuite bathrooms, and a small entryway or mudroom at the back. I did end up making a lot of changes to this build. For example, I moved the lot over to the right hand side a bit. Unlike the Sims 4, you can't sort of pick up the lot and move it over or add foundation to the lot once you've built it. So unfortunately you have to rebuild like what I've been doing here, or what I've done here. Also, I changed the colour of the outside walls as well as time went on, as you'll see from the video. I did actually make a plan but I stuck to it for the most part, but I did make other changes. I did put a fireplace in there, I like that one but unfortunately I had to change it later on because I wanted to put a TV above it, because there was no way of getting a television in the living room unless I had it sort of like in the middle of the room or up against the window again. I just wanted something a little bit different. Again, I have used custom content in this build, and also Sims 4 to 2 conversions. And here I thought, oh, I've got some covers for steps. So I thought I'll use those because I've not used them before, and maybe they'll go with the sort of like rock wall. But I ended up changing all that and not using the covers for the steps because the way I done it, it looked too dark to me. So I lightened it all up a bit again later on in the video. I do put a wall around that fireplace in the end, and I change all this as well. All the I change it to white, I believe, if I remember right. But as you'll see as I'm building this, it seems to get darker and darker, and I chose sort of dark brown and green windows. Made it look even darker, I think. But yeah, so I was just fiddling all the time with it. Nothing seemed to look right, and I couldn't put those banister things on with the stairs still there, or the cover of the stairs, so I had to take those off to put the banisters on. And here we go, making it look darker. I just wanted the banisters and everything to go with the railings, but it looks nice, but just a bit too dark. So all this was probably a bit of a waste of time, but it's nice to have a look at other options, I suppose. I wanted a sort of rock and wooden on the outside, but it just nothing looked right. So making a lot of changes, or I will be making a lot of changes in a minute. I'll bring that fireplace out as well, I think. Yeah, just to make the living room a little bit longer. I think later on I bring out the dining room bit as well, but it still didn't look right. And here's where I'm putting in the green doors. I wanted sort of like green and pine, and ended up doing a dark wood to go with the steps and the railings, and just everything was just too dark. So I ended up putting in white windows, and I wanted a pine sort of window inside with the dark on the outside. But as I keep saying, it still looks too dark, so everything was changed to white. Here I am looking at it and thinking, no, this doesn't look right. And then I decided to bring those out, and they end up being deleted in the end as well. It was a pretty long process just to get the building right and the outside walls right colour and the right colour windows before I was satisfied to continue with doing the furnishings inside. I've made it a little bit lighter and made those lighter as well. And then I end up taking, that's it, here we go. I change it all back to white. I've edited that through because it just takes so long. I did change that door at the back, but I hadn't changed it at that point. You'll see as we go. And yeah, I change it back to stone. Although I put that wood on the outside, I change it all back to stone in the end. Apart from that other little bit, that bit that sticks out, I kept that with the wood, just to give it a bit of a contrast. I think that looks so much better with the white in the brick in the foundation, so it goes a little bit better and looks a bit brighter. And here I change the foundation, or the porch at the back, and back to the stone again. But as I say, I left that little bit that's sticking out, sort of a brown wood. So once I was happy with that, I carried on doing the interior, and I wanted to have some contrasting walls there, which I changed that in the dining room. I kept it all the same paint rather than the wood, and I put contrasting walls in those two little bathrooms, but I changed that all to the grey and white wallpaper. And those two little 2x1 squares are for the fitted wardrobes. Now I wanted to put bookcases by the sides of that chimney, but it didn't look right, so I ended up putting in plants instead. And then I found that, I forgot I had that. Don't even remember where I got it from. Probably Mod SIMS. Usually get my stuff from Mod SIMS. So I hung on to that, but I didn't end up using it in the end. I used these chairs again. I think they're a conversion from Sims 4. I used those in my last build as well, but they're really nice and went well with what I was after, which was a sort of a modern look. And I used different curtains this time, not those. Used these ones instead. I didn't think they were going to fit to begin with, and I realised I had wider ones that I could use for 2 windows. So there's like 2 sets there, one for 1 window and one for 2 windows. And because I didn't use the windows that use up 2 squares, they fitted. And here I was having a go at putting on a TV, so I had to use that chimney, or fireplace should I say, to put the TV in. I mean, I could have taken out one of those chairs and put a television in, but I wanted it to be a sort of like in a circle in the living room, so people can, or Sims can sit around and watch TV. Now I had a lot of problems with the kitchen because it's not very big, so I kept changing things around and ended up putting in another window as well, because I do like to have a window above the sink, and realised I hadn't got one, and so I put in some of those. I put in the island counters as extra counters for Sims to use. I did put stools in as well, so they can sit there as well as the dining room table that I will be putting in shortly. It just didn't look. Oh, this is where I pulled it out a little bit. That's what I mean. In the Sims 4 you'd just be able to pull it out, but you have to rebuild in the Sims 2. And then I changed all that wallpaper as well because it didn't look right. So here I think is where I put in a window. I do shortly. Oh, that's Sims 4 to 2 conversion again. I do like that table. I tend to use it a lot in my builds. I think that's from Eco Life. Oh, and those first chairs I tried to put in, they are dining room chairs, but they looked a bit too low for my liking. So I ended up putting those other ones in instead and doing a green instead of grey, which I thought looked nice. Didn't want to have too much grey, although I do the bedrooms sort of a grey white theme. Here I am fiddling about with everything. It just did not look right to me. I didn't want the fridge over the other side of the room really, so I moved it all back again. And there's the window. I think I put a blind on there rather than curtains, and I used the first stools rather than those ones. So I thought, because they're white and pine looking, so it went with the rest of the decor. And I used a 2 space door I think there and changed it to 1, and I think I changed it back to 2 again. And that little coffee table, it sort of went with those side tables with the lamps on, but I do change that later on as well. Oh, here's where I found the blind, which I thought looked better than curtains, especially over that sink, because the curtains clipped into the counters. And here is where I decided to use the Grange mudroom kit again, but I did change that to something else. I think it was the long cabinet. That's it. Yeah. So, and the mirror and the wall decoration. I think it looked nice there. And I put extra plants on. I did take those off, so I just had 3 things on there. So I think there's space for 6 items, and I put the telephone on there instead, and realised I didn't have a bookcase. So I ended up putting a bookcase on there. I didn't put in a desk or a computer though, and I changed that to the audio because I nearly forgot to put in an audio, and that was from the Casanova cave conversion, which is becoming a fast favourite. And I did change the built-in wardrobes to the mirrored doors, because I was going to put a mirror in the bedrooms, but there wasn't really a lot of room, so I decided to put the mirrored wardrobes in instead, so at least they've got a mirror to look into or do charisma or what have you. There's that nice picture that I found, I think, in my last build, so that's becoming another favourite. And I do apologise if you can hear any background noise. I've got a neighbour doing lots of drilling and banging around. I don't know what they're doing, but it seems like a big job they're on. And that's where I changed the built-in wardrobes. I tried to keep the pine look as well. I was going for sort of pine and white and green again, which I probably do tend to do a lot lately. I think I probably have to change my colour schemes, and I changed that as well. I say both bedrooms are the same and both bathrooms are the same, so you could change one of the bedrooms, put 2 single beds in, I suppose, but children can sleep in a double bed together, so that's not a problem. So you could have a family in here of a couple with 1 or 2 kids. As I said before, here I go changing it all to the grey and white wallpaper rather than having the brown in there as well. I did like the brown wooden walls, but because I chose that shower, it's sort of like grey and white, and the curtains are sort of grey, white and yellow, I thought it'd be better just to have the same colour walls all throughout both bathrooms. And oh yes, the lights. I think these were the same lights as I used in my last build. I do like those. So I didn't put an easel in this build, or a chess set, or a desk with computer. But of course, if you download this for your game, you can always make room for those things. If your sim wants them, I'll give them a once then. I redone the roofing as well a couple of times, as you'll see as we go along. So I put the larger roof too far over at one point. There I think it was. And yeah, I smashed it back down again because that wasn't over far enough, the small one. So I had to redo it. Unlike the Sims 4 where you can just push and pull. And I put in a ceiling as well, different colour ceiling. I thought that looked quite nice actually. I do like the default white ceiling, but I really like that one as well. And of course we're doing the landscaping. I used the same plants as I used in my last build. Well, I think they're the same ones. Yellow rose bushes and the other white flowered bushes. And here I was looking to see what fencing I could use, or I should use. I'm looking at the colours. I thought the brown went with it more than say a white fence, as again I used that in the previous two builds, I believe, white fencing. So as we're coming to the end of the video, I'll do my usual spiel as you watch me do the landscaping. So if you would like this lot in your game, you can download it from Mediafire, and the link is in the description below. As I have used custom content in this build, I would recommend installing with the Sims 2 Pack Clean installer, and the link to that and all instructions are in the README file in the download zip. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, as that really helps me out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notification of my next video. Subscribing is absolutely free, also really helps me out and is very much appreciated. Also, I now have memberships available for the channel if you're interested. I have placed it at the lowest cost I can do, and although it's a monthly fee, you can cancel at any time. As a member, you get a little plum bob by your name, some custom emojis to use, and a shout out in my videos. So without further ado, a big shout out to my members, who are Eero Sims, Alice Jones, Nikki McKay, Diane Rowe, Paula Alfaro, and Rovaldi TV. Thank you so much. Don't forget to check out my other videos, a couple of which are linked at the end of this video. I have Let's Plays, tutorials, challenges and other builds. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Dag dag.